Good afternoon or good evening, depending on where you are. My name is TJ, and today I'll be interviewing FetCet, head coach of the Regiredemption in Wing King League. How are you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good, thank you. How about you?
Doing all right. It's the weekend, so it
Oh
means I
yeah,
get
no.
to spend time doing things I wouldn't be able to do otherwise, like being able to talk to coaches here. Um, so, uh, your team, Regiredemption, had their first week of playoffs this week. You won't talk about the outcome just yet, but talk to me about like your experience this season, season five. I know it's probably your I think your second season, but like talk to me about like your experience here in Draftarig for this for the season.
Okay. This season's been pretty good. I've enjoyed it. I enjoyed it quite a lot. The team that I used was really cool. I had a lot of cool battles. It was a shame that I didn't get to. I think there were 2 weeks where I didn't get to battle my opponents because which was unfortunate. But in the end, all the battles that I did have were really good ones, and I'm quite happy with how I performed. And the people I've battled with are all very cool people as well. I'm quite happy with how I did, making it to quarterfinals with a team of just Regis and some other Pokemon are all is pretty cool. Um, so I was very happy with how I did and how the whole season went.
Yeah, it's rather unfortunate that like, your league had a bunch of dropouts. But all things considered, you're one of the people that committed and played, so we appreciate that. So talk about like what made you decide to do all the Reggies and like the supporting cast behind it.
Okay. The whole idea between creating the team like making this new team Regiredemption, because previously I was the Zippy Zaps. I decided to rebrand to Regiredemption because Um, in the last season I was in, which was I think season three of this, and that was when it was still Spear Pillar. Back then, I was in the finals match and I lost very quickly to a Shift Gear Genesect set, which fair enough was pretty cool, but I was quite disappointed that I my finals match had ended so quickly, and I decided that I wanted to have a chance to redeem myself in the next season I was going to be performing in. And so I sat and I was thinking about ways to um, name my team after Redemption, and I realized that Reggie and Redemption both start with RE, and the Reggies tend to have the uh, names Reggie and then an actual just word like Registeel, Reggie Rock, Regice. So I decided just why don't I just do Reggie Redemption and draft all the Reggies because not only do I think it's pretty cool, but it's also kind of funny. And so I debated it for a while, and I eventually decided that I was gonna do that. And I honestly do think that the team I've made was a pretty good one. Obviously, the Reggies aren't too bad. Like Regieleki and Regidrago are just good. Regice and Regice and Registeel are both pretty good as well. The other two are like Regirock and Regigigas aren't as good, but I still found some use. I still knew I could find some use in them. And then all the other supporting Pokemon, Annihilate, Tapu, Bulu, all them, they were all like very carefully chosen to give myself the best possible matchup against other teams. And I think I made a really good uh, team. They're probably not like perfect, but I think for a team featuring all six Regis, I'd say I made a uh, a, a, a pretty good team considering that. Um, yeah, I think the main thing was like a lot of the Regis were weak to fighting, so I knew I needed a strong Ghost type. So Annihilate was my first was immediately like the Pokemon I knew I needed to grab first, and then all the Regis and all that, yeah, and a lot of other just general fighting resists. Talonflame and Tapu Bulu, and Quillfish is pretty good at handling them too.
Yeah, I think you brought a lot of like support mons that would help. Like Quillfish has nice intimidate, and Tapu Bulu can cover for the ground weaknesses of like several of them, and then
Yeah,
Talonflames cover not only covers the ground weakness, but also can weaken certain mons with like Flame Body. Um, Overall, like you said, it was well crafted considering like the whole theme of it all. Um, so of the Reggies, who do you think like was your best one? Like I'm only looking at stats, but I want to hear it like from you. Like who do you think was your best Reggie?
Definitely Regis. Even though Regis was a Pokemon that I only brought in my last two games, those last two games that it came in, it was incredibly useful in both of them. I won't be able to pinpoint exactly what things he did, but I think in the first match I brought him in week 8, he managed to take out two Pokemon by themselves, and then also severely weaken a Terapagos. Um, and then with the quarterfinals, I was able to use counter on it to defeat Mega Metagross, which I thought was pretty cool. And I would say Regidrago is kind of a close second because I think it did help clean up in one of my earliest battles, and in week 7, I believe it managed to get a late game sweep with Dragon Dance. But then all the others, like Regieleki was difficult to use, but I feel like was consistently all right. Uh, and then Registeel didn't. Or then Registeel and Regirock didn't come to too many games, but they were fine. And I didn't get to use Regigigas at all, which was a shame. But um, that's just how it is, I guess, sometimes. But yeah,
Yeah,
Regi is definitely the best Regi that I used.
yeah. I think people forget about like how like with its defenses, it can take a lot of the hits, and then it's like the way you used Miracle was like or counter was brilliant. Honestly, the
Yeah.
other day, especially against what it was being up against.
hmm
Um, so what I'm also curious about, like, so Tapu Bulu was like one of the Pokemon that moved down a tier. It came like one game, but like, what was your thoughts on Tapu Bulu?
On paper, I think it sounded really good because it could mainly the main reason I got it was so that it was because it set up grassy terrain and so it could reduce the damage from earthquake that a lot of my Pokemon were weak to, and also it was a fighting immunity. That was the and also a fairy type because I needed a fairy type. I feel like it was important for those reasons. But I did actually only end up bringing it to one game. Maybe it was just because I don't know how to use it, but I felt like in most games it wasn't very useful in any of them. And the one game I did bring it to, it died very quickly. So I don't know. Maybe I just can't use it right, but I didn't have the best experience with it, unfortunately.
All right, fair enough. So you talked about like how valuable Reggie Ice was for your team. Who do you think was like the least like? Who do you think was like the least valuable member for your team if it wasn't for Tapu Bulu? Like, who would you pick?
Uh, I feel like I'm obligated to pick Regigigas just because I didn't bring it to a single game. Um, and it just it's an F tier for despite the fact it has really good stats, it's F tier for a reason. The ability really slows it down. Um, and yeah, in all the games I just looked at it, I kept thinking I really want to use it, but I could never find a good enough niche for it to fill. I did have one for week 3, but I didn't end up bringing it to that match because it didn't happen. Um,
Oh, so it could have played a game, but just didn't have the opportunity
it
to
could,
actually play it.
yeah. I think if I had to pick a Pokemon out of the ones I actually used, I don't know actually. I feel like they all at least did. I'd say probably Regirock because again, I struggled to find use for it. Um, and the one game I did bring it to, it didn't really do a whole lot, and it's difficult to use a pure rock type with a special defense stat.
Hmm. Yep, fair enough.
So
And
yeah. And it's a shame they were both Regis as well because those were the guys I was the most excited to use.
well, there could always be chances for
They-
another team.
Yeah, no,
Maybe.
that's true.
Okay. So if you weren't able to play like all game with every single opponent on your schedule, due to certain people leaving the league or other whatever other reasons. Who'd you think was your toughest opponent that you faced?
Ooh. I'll take a quick look at all my opponents and see. So I'll need to remember what all their
Sure.
teams were.
And if you're looking at my screen, I have them. I have all your whole league
Oh,
pulled
right,
up.
yeah. That's nice. Looking at them all, Probably Mary. I think Mary had a really tough team. Mary had a lot of yeah, Mary, she had a lot of really good Pokemon. She had great offensive Pokemon, like the stuff like Roaring Moon and Gallade, like Mega Gallade even,
Yeah.
and even like and obviously like Slurpuff with like Belly Drum, Citrus, Slurpuff with Belly Drums, terrifying. Goldengo can be offensive or defensive, which is really scary. And Terapagos is just a Pokemon I hadn't actually battled up until this point, and this was in its strongest form, so I really didn't have a great idea on how to deal with it. And everything else was scary in one way or another. So yeah, and also Mary was just like the top player at that time, and she is known to be. I feel like every time I've seen her in a league, she's done really well. So every time I've seen her battle or like in a league, she's done really well. So I was terrified of her team and also just her by herself. And she wiped the floor with me. So it was uh right. I feel like I was right in those feelings.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
I saw that they were undefeated as far as regular standings go. It'll be another week before we see how Mary does in playoffs, but we shall see. Like you said, it's a very strong team. Someone another league actually has something similar with Golden Go, Terapagos, and Mega Gallade.
yeah,
Very scary because of like offensively and then how bulky Terapagos is. Um,
yeah.
Definitely could see why you picked it.
Hmm.
And then my next question is: so, of the matches that you did get to play, what was like your favorite match?
Oh, my favorite match. That's a really good question. Um, Probably. I'm looking at the Minnesota Mighty Yanas because I remember that. I remember yeah, Zach, yeah, that was Zach. Yeah, no, I think yeah, no, I think I like that one a lot because not only whether it was difficult to prepare for, which I think was also just it was just fun to prepare for, but finding ways around the different Pokemon he had, like Terragrand Mantine and stuff like that, was really quite was quite good. And of course, seeing a Zangus on his team as well is cool because Zangus is cool. Um, yeah, no, I think the battle itself was good as well. He brought Assault Vest Mantine, I believe, which was a set I never could have ever expected, which I thought was really cool. So yeah, I think I had the most fun preparing and fighting against Zach for sure. I think he was definitely my favorite
Yeah,
opponent.
that was actually one of the matches I did get to watch, and I think Town Flame like really went off, and really prevented Zangoose from going off. But hey, that's how it
Yeah,
goes.
yeah, no, it was. I did feel quite bad doing that because Zangus is like one of my favorite Pokemon. So just nailing it like that was kind of felt kind of bad, but it was also satisfying because I knew it was a threat.
Well, best of luck to the Mighty Mightianas in the future, as I see that they have also in the relegation team squad, but
Yeah, of
it's
course.
okay. So like there's a lot of leagues outside of Wing King, um, and I'm wondering like is there any team that you like to watch or support outside?
Outside of Draftarig.
Or no, I just meant like outside of Wing King is like another league, like just within Draftarig I meant.
Okay, right. Yeah, I see. I'll be honest. I haven't really been keeping up with the other leagues,
That's
partly
fine.
because I've been busy with a lot of other leagues.
Yeah, no, I know you're a
But
part of
there
multiple
are
ones.
yeah there have been some people that I've been looking at, and I just think I wonder how they're doing in a league if they are in a league. People like Gabo, and um, there was there was someone else that interacted with in the I think it was the when we did the league with when we were like two people partnered up. There
Oh,
was some
Aqua
person
Magma
in
League.
yeah that was it. And there was someone like Ghosty. Yeah, I think it was they were called Ghosty, and they were I think they were in that, and I don't think I've seen them since that league, but they've I've been hoping that they've been doing well in whatever they're doing at least because they were very kind.
Well, that's good to hear about because we care about community in here, and I'm glad to hear positive experience.
Yeah.
Um, so well, let's finally talk about your playoff match. It was probably like one of the most insane matches I've ever watched in Draft League.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that the morale of the team hasn't been high since that match. But um, what was your preparation like for the team going into that?
Uh, okay. My preparation going into it was very quick and very short because we were supposed to be battling on Thursday, and it had to get changed to the day before. I think like an hour before I was ready to draft, and the only Pokemon I had was Hisuian Quillfish with a couple of sets I was questioning, and then I had not very long to come up with the rest of the team. And so I ended up with just like a mission mash of just a lot of random moves on Pokemon that I just thought, maybe this will work if I'm in a pinch. And to be fair, it actually did. Like the counter Regis was something that I came up with because I was like, well, I don't know how I'm gonna beat Metagross. So I just thought, well, because my idea was Terra Ghost counter Regis, so that I could live Heavy Slam and then kill it with counter. That didn't end up happening because I just completely forgot about Terastallizing, but because he clicked Rock Slide anyway, I was still able to get the kill. But but yeah, no. There was a lot of very random moves on here. I had Stealth Rock on Annihilate, and I had Ice Beam on Quillfish, which to be fair, that almost won me the game. But yeah, Choice Scarf Quillfish was a thing that I brought that was very quick to just throw on there. And then Regirelecki was just kind of added last second as well for screens support. So it was very quickly all thrown together, but I think it actually did perform quite well, and I was happy with it.
Yeah, I think overall, like you said, it did really well. Like the idea of using counter on a Regice wouldn't be something that I would ever even think about, especially against the likes of Metagross. But it worked out perfectly. It's a shame that I think your Talonflame like wanted to hit a move and it missed, and then
Yeah,
some other things here
that
and there.
yeah,
Um,
there was a lot of hacks in that game, but we know that that's just how it happens in Pokemon. I've won many games to hacks. I've lost many games to hacks. It's just something that happens.
so
Oh,
looking back,
hacks! I say chat,
yeah, yeah,
whatever you
yeah,
want to call
chat.
it.
So looking back at the match, is there anything that you would have done differently as far as like adjusting something here and there, or like um any moves that you think you could have done differently?
Um, if I had known beforehand, I feel like if I had known beforehand about because the game came down to like a 1% health Gliscor, and if I had known that, I would have clicked. If I'd known it was going to come down to that, I'd have clicked Flamethrower with Talonflame against it instead of Hurricane. But it's not like I knew that was going to happen ahead of time, so that was fine. I'm not too worried about that. Um, Other than that, I know there was like one point that I misplayed, and I was like, oh, I'm stupid for forgetting about that. But I think some of it was just like, oh, I could have terrored there. I could have terrored here. Like, of course, like forgetting to terror Ghost Regis could have been really bad. Um, Something like that. I really don't know. I know, like, I remember I ranted to a friend about different things I had done wrong during that match, but he kind of convinced me that well, it's not really my fault because either I didn't know this was going to happen, or in hindsight, it was a good move to make. It was just like ended up not being right for things I could not foresee. So overall, I think I played. I'm really happy with how I played, but I could have done a little better. Like if we're speaking
Hmm.
like in some cases I should have definitely made different moves and I didn't just out of luck. Like I said, the Terra, like I should have clicked Terra Ghost on Regis against the Metagross because if he had just clicked a Steel type move, then I would have just lost immediately.
Yeah.
But So that was very big luck that I managed to uh, still squeeze a kill out on the Metagross there. But other than that, I'd say I was pretty happy with how I played.
Yeah, because the only other thing I was thinking about when I was watching the match and the replay, I was thinking to myself like, it's really hard to think of this in the time, like, because you kept hitting it. You had the intimidate drop on it once, and if you had done it just one more time, I wonder if you would have been able to live, and then been able to do that last kill. Because really, you could have sacked um, both your Regice and your Annihilate at the time, and it probably wouldn't have been able to do enough to KO one of your mons in the
Yeah,
end. But like you said, it's hard to think of these things in the moment.
yeah,
But that was the other thing
definitely.
that I came across in my mind. So either way, it's still getting to playoffs is still an achievement of its own. Especially with the number
Mhm.
of people that we have in the server, it's hard to compete. Um, how do you feel? But like, how do you feel over about the season? I know that 1% is probably like gonna be something that lingers, for a decent amount of time. But like, how do you feel about your season overall?
As season overall, I think went quite well. Like I said, I think I was very quite happy with how I played. I came up with some cool sets on Pokemon, even if I didn't get to use them at some point, whether to just the Pokemon dying prematurely or not getting to do the battle that they were in. Um, a lot of the sets that I made did actually come in useful, and that was quite nice. But and I really liked my team as a whole. I feel like everything fit quite well together, even if again I didn't really use a lot of them to their full potential. I was quite happy with it, and the season as a whole. Um, yeah, I think I played well, and my opponents all played quite very well as well. I was just happy. The main thing I think was that I had a lot of fun doing it as well. I made a very fun team. I had a lot of Pokemon, other Pokemon on it that I enjoyed using. It's been a very fun league, and I've enjoyed it quite a lot.
And that's good. That's at the end of the day, like that should be like the whole leagues are about, just like having
Yeah,
fun, getting the things you want. Obviously, things never turn out perfect, but like having fun and just getting to play with other people and like even learn things here and there.
yeah,
Um,
exactly. That's why I drafted the Regi team. Like part of the reason was because I wanted to do the whole like redemption bit, but it was also like I knew people would like the idea of drafting every single Regi, so I did
yeah.
it partly because I think it's fun as well.
Oh yeah, you were definitely. I don't know if I said this before, but you were definitely like a fan favorite for like people in the server, to the point where you got your own role. I believe. I don't know if you're aware of that, but
Oh, did I? No,
yeah,
I was not. No.
yeah.
I,
I just know because I was given the role. Let me see if I could figure out what it's called. The Reggie Roosters was a role that was created to support
oh
your
yeah.
team.
Oh, was it really? Oh, I never even knew that. That's awesome.
Yeah, but definitely
I
like.
think I think I. Yeah. Okay. Sorry.
No, 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 no. I just figured I'd share that with you if you didn't know about that already. Um,
Oh yeah, no, that's awesome. I never even knew about that. I think I might have seen the role get like added once, but I just didn't think anything about it. That's so that's really cool. Actually, I didn't know that. I didn't even know that was a thing. That's awesome.
so I have like maybe like two more questions.
Yeah.
Is there anything you want to like you've been here for like maybe I guess a few seasons, but is there anything you want to share about yourself, like things about like your any leagues you're playing in, or like your experiences in overall competitive or anything like that, just so people like get to know you more.
I guess I could share like my whole drafting experience as a whole. Um, I've been doing draft for how long now? Let me see. Actually, I've got still part of the very first server I was in, which was one that was made by one of my good friends. I think it was almost 2 years ago. I took part in it, and that was Generation 8 National Decks. Um, and it was for inexperienced players, like people who had never done draft before, and I did pretty well in that one. And then after that one, I was like, well, I've done really well in that one. I'm gonna see what other ones I can find online. I found a Smogon draft, and obviously, being a newcomer to draft, I got wiped the floor with there because that was just full of competitive, like really good players, and I had no place there. And then I found places like the Burn Tower Draft League and uh, Draftarig, which was then Spear Pillar, the SGBL League as well. and I found that those places are a lot more welcoming to me. There's a lot of people there on the same like level as me, and like the more people that as I play more, I've been getting but yeah no sorry as I played more, I learned more about draft and about competitive Pokemon in general, and now I'm at a spot where I feel like I know quite a good amount about it to the point where I can make some cool stuff. I can make some very like unique sets work with different Pokemon, and I like that's like the and I've as a whole I've really enjoyed draft because it lets me take my um use my team building skills and my battling skills to the fullest. I think that's me expand the most. And yeah, but drafting as a whole has just been really cool. I've enjoyed it a lot.
Yeah, I think Draft League is a unique format. It allows for a lot of creativity.
Mm.
Um, like in the team building is like half the fun of it, if not the the prep pain of like figuring out can this Pokemon outspeed, can this Pokemon live. But it just the be able to use sets that wouldn't be able to use in any other situation is a fun,
Yeah,
rewarding experience of its own. And I
yeah, 100.
think
percent
like how you said, it definitely teaches you how to what is it called? You've definitely shown that you've been able to use teams effectively. And here in at least one of the league that I've been able to watch. I've been because I'm also part of a Burn Tower and SGBL.
Yeah.
Shout out to those communities. They've been very nice enough to bring players to Draftarig to help make a better community. Um,
Mhm.
and creating a team that relies on a theme is requires a much higher um, requirements of skill and execution than just trying to just build around like one Pokemon. Like you had to basically build around with six of your slots like out. Like so, kudos to you for
No, it was
doing
very
that.
fun. Yeah.
Um, so then my last question is so like any like all things considered, do you want anything you want to say to like your supporters, your fans? Like I know that maybe the same team will not come around for next season, but I figured you want to share for the people who did support the uh the Reggie Redemptions, all the Reggie Roosters out there.
hmm Okay. Yeah. No, definitely. Like massive thank you to all the Reggie Roosters as they're called. I never even knew. Like I knew people enjoyed the Reggie Redemption, but I didn't know it was enough that it was a whole role created about it. Um, that's very fun. And what else was I gonna say? Yeah. No, the Regiredemption won't be returning for any future seasons I'm in, just because this was like a one-time gimmick, and I enjoyed it a lot. But I probably don't want to do it again. Had my fun with it, and going back to the Zippy Zaps is what I would prefer. But no, genuinely, like big, like I really uh massive, really big thank you to anyone who did support me. Like I like the concept of the Reggie Redemption just because I thought it was funny. I guess I did know other people were gonna like it. I didn't expect it to gain as much traction as it did. I didn't even know it gained this much traction until now. You told me about the role. I didn't even know that existed. I didn't know it was as popular as you said it is. But I'm very glad to hear that. And I feel and that makes me wish I had performed better even more now. But um, I do have to also respect my opponent and wish him good luck as well because I lost, but if I lost, it was to someone who was um, worthy of beating me. I think so. I think that's fine.
Yeah. Well,
But
thank
yeah,
you. Yeah, thank you for your time, and we look forward to like looking to see whatever you cook up next. I assume that
yeah,
whatever you plan is definitely gonna be something fun and something that people want to watch. So, uh,
100%.
thanks again for joining for our season, and best of luck in all your other draft leagues.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me. And I will definitely do my, I'll definitely do my best in my other draft leagues as well. But yeah, thank you for having me.
Yep, and have a good day, FetCat.
Yeah, you too.
Stay tuned next time.